Hey there! It's great to see you again in the 7th episode of Awakening 3D Models. We've made good progress so far, and now it's time to continue our journey. Let's go! In the last episode, we introduced custom properties and linked them to drivers, allowing us to create more intuitive and flexible controls. Now that our rig is more organized, stable, and interactive, let's move on to the next step. Don't forget to download the practice files for this episode from Gumroad or ArtStation, and make sure to practice. If you're ready, let's get started. In this part, we're going to learn how to connect the bones to the character with skinning or binding. Let's get started. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. The first method is connecting through bone parent. This method directly connects a mesh, or part of it, to a single bone. The whole mesh moves exactly like the bone, without bending or deforming. This works best for hard surface objects that need to move perfectly with a specific bone. To do this, first, select the mesh, then hold Shift and select the armature. Go to Pose Mode using the Control tab or from this menu and choose the bone you want. Press Ctrl P, and in the parent menu, select Bone. As you can see, the mesh now follows the bone completely. To make it easier to select the mesh and bone at the same time, go to the Edit tab and turn off Lock Object Modes. This way, you can easily select both the mesh and the bone together. Just go to Pose Mode once, and from then on, you can select either one without any trouble. For example, I'll select the mesh first, then hold Shift and select the bone I want. Press Ctrl plus P, and in the parent menu, choose Bone. If you look at the outliner, you'll see the mesh is now under the armature. Now, if I select just the bone and move it, the mesh follows it perfectly. If I select the mesh, press Alt plus P, and choose Clear Parent, everything goes back to how it was before. The next method is Weights Parent. This method uses vertex weights to control how much each bone affects different parts of the mesh. It allows for smooth bending and stretching, which makes it perfect for organic models like humans or animals that need to be flexible. But you can also use this method for hard surface objects if needed. In this method, we decide which bone controls which parts of the mesh and how much influence it has. So, the first step is to group the vertices we want to control. If I select one of the meshes in the Object Data tab, you'll see the Vertex Groups section. This is where we create groups for the vertices. Using the plus and minus buttons here, we can add new groups or delete them. Here's an important thing to remember. The name of each group you create must match the name of the bone you want to control that group. This is where proper and logical naming becomes really important. Let's see how it works in action. I'm going to select Target 1 and create a new group in the Vertex Group section. To assign vertices to this group, I'll go into Edit mode and select the vertices I want. Since I want all the vertices to be included, all you gotta do is hover your mouse over the mesh and press L. This will select all connected vertices. When we're in Edit mode, some extra options show up here. To add vertices to a group, we use Assign, and to remove them, we use Remove. With these 2 options, we can select or deselect vertices that are assigned to the group. Below them, you'll see Weight, but we're not going to touch that for now. We'll keep it at 1. Now, to make this group follow a bone, I'll go to the Modifiers tab, click Add Modifier, and under Deform, choose Armature. For the object, I'll select Armature, and in the Vertex Group field, I'll choose the group I created. Let's see what happens. To test it out, I'll switch to Object Mode, select Bone 1, and move it around by pressing G. You'll see, nothing happens. I'll select Target 1 and go back to the Vertex Group section. The group we create here does 2 things. It decides which vertices to include and also determines which bone controls those vertices. To make the second part work, the group name must match the name of the bone you want to control it. This way, the software knows which bone to connect to the group. In this case, the vertices are grouped, but in the modifier we created, the software looks for a bone with the same name in the armature we selected. Since there's no bone with that name, nothing happens. To fix this, I'll change the name of the vertex group. I'll double-click the group name and change it to Bone 1. Make sure to pay attention to uppercase and lowercase letters because the software sees them as different names. After changing the name, go back to the Modifier section and reselect the vertex group in the field. Now if I select Bone 1 and move it, you'll see Target 1 follows the bone correctly. To avoid typos when naming vertex groups, there's another way to create groups. I'm selecting the mesh by clicking on it. I'll delete this modifier, go back to Object Data, and delete this group too. I'll select Target 1, hold Shift, and click on the armature. It doesn't matter which bone you click on. I'll press Ctrl P and choose with empty groups from this menu. If I select Target 1, in the Vertex Group section, you'll see 2 groups created with the names of the bones in our armature. Also, if I go to the Modifiers tab, I'll see an armature modifier has been created. Now, I just need to assign the vertex group I want. This method speeds up the process and helps avoid mistakes. Now in this field, I'll select Bone 1, then jump back to Object Data and click on Bone 1. Then, I'll go into Edit mode. Just hover over the mesh and press L to select all connected vertices. Finally, I'll click Assign. When you assign vertices, a new window called Vertex Weights pops up. This window shows how much influence the vertex groups have on the selected vertices. It helps you fine-tune the weight values manually. For now, just know that these values should be in the Deform tab. Let's go back to the main project and apply what we've learned. First, I'll go to the Edit tab and turn off Lock Object modes. In the Bone collection, I'll enable all bones, and in the Viewport display, I'll turn off Shapes so I can see all bones. Next, I'll select all parts of the character. Make sure everything is selected except the springs, because we'll use a different method for rigging the springs. Now, I'll hold Shift and select the armature. It doesn't matter which bone I click on. I'll press Ctrl P and choose with empty groups from the list. If I select one part of the character, a group has been created for each bone with the same name. This makes our job easier. I'll press Tab to go into Edit mode and see that these groups are empty. No vertices are assigned yet. We need to assign each part of the character to the correct group. If I go to the Modifiers tab, I'll see an Armature modifier has been created, and Luxo Rig is assigned. Now, I just need to assign the vertex group I want so the armature can control that part of the character. Let's start with the base. I'll go to Object Data, select Base from the list, and assign all the vertices of the base to it. Right after assigning, the Vertex Weights window shows up. It tells us that the selected vertices are assigned to the base group with a weight of 1. Now I'll go to the Modifiers tab, click on this field, and select Base. To test it, I'll press Tab to go back to Object mode, select the base bone, and move it with G. You'll see the base follows the bone perfectly. We'll use the same method to connect the other parts to their corresponding bones. I'll select Fork Block and go into Edit mode. Just hover over the mesh and hit L to select the vertices. For parts that aren't connected, I'll do the same thing. Hover over them and press L. I'll keep doing this until all vertices are selected. We could also hold Shift, select one vertex from each part, and press Ctrl L to select all connected vertices. Use whichever method feels easier for you. Now, in this field, I can assign Fork Block. I'll go to Object Data, and in the vertex groups, I'll assign these vertices to Fork Block. I'll press Tab to go back to Object mode, select Back Arm, go into Edit mode, hover over them and press L. Now from this list, I'll assign it to Back Arm. Now heading to Modifiers, I'll assign Back Arm to this modifier. I'll repeat the same process for the other parts. For Sidearm, I'll assign Sidearm to Modifier. I'll press Tab to go into Edit mode, select one vertex from its different parts, press Ctrl L to select all vertices, going to the Object Data, find Sidearm in the list, and assign it. Next, I'll do the same for Elbow. OK. And assign it. Alright. Now let's move on to Top Back Arm. Selecting it and assigning all its vertices just like we did before. There we go. Next up is Top Side Arm. Let's carefully select all its components before assigning. Perfect. Now for the bridle section. Making sure we get all those vertices selected properly. Great. After that comes the neck. I move my mouse over the mesh, press L for all connected ones, and assign. And finally, we'll tackle the shade. Same process. Select, add it to the modifier, and assign the points to their own group. Now for the lamp, no vertex group was created. Probably when we were selecting the character parts, the lamp was missed. No problem. I'll select the lamp, hold Shift, and select the armature. Then, I'll press Ctrl P and choose with empty groups. Now if I select the lamp, I'll see the groups have been created for it. Since I want the lamp to follow the shade bone, I'll select its vertices and assign them to shade. In the modifier, I'll assign shade as well. Perfect. Now, except for the springs, the entire character is connected to the armature and should follow it. Let's test it together. I'll select base and move it with G. You'll see all parts follow it as expected, except for linkage. So I'll select linkage, go into edit mode, select all its vertices, and assign them to its group, which is root. We made root responsible for rotating around the y-axis. Now if I select base again and move it, everything works as planned. Let's test the other parts to make sure they work correctly. I'll turn off names in the Object Data tab to see everything more clearly. As you can see, all parts follow their corresponding bones, which means we've successfully rigged our first character and everything is working as it should. It's so good. If you notice any issues during testing, don't worry. It's completely normal, especially in rigging. Rigging can be tricky, and mistakes can happen. So, no need to stress. Just make sure you follow the steps correctly, and if you run into any problems, review your process. Don't forget to save your file frequently after each step. This can be a huge help if something goes wrong. And if you still can't figure out the problem, no worries. Just join our Discord using the link in the video description and ask your question there. I'll be there to answer your questions as soon as possible, so don't hesitate to join and be part of the community. Thanks for joining me in this episode. I'll see you in the next one, and have a good time.